Privacy is important, even more so. Privacy is a human right and the foundation of other human rights such as those in our Bill of Rights. Thankfully, we have people and laws in place to make sure these are protected. What is more valuable? Money or information? We trade personal information for services all the time. In fact, information is growing to be the new currency. And while technology has been beneficial to us in many ways, it does open us up to a whole new world of risks. The Data Privacy Act of 2012 is a special law in the Philippines that protects the right of an individual to data. It is a law specifically designed to regulate the processing of information about people. It covers all types of information about individuals. It likewise covers the processing of personal data of individuals by the government and private corporations. Privacy is a fundamental human right, essential to autonomy and protection of human dignity. It serves as the foundation which many other human rights are built. Good things happen when right information is shared at the right time. Our Constitution makes sure it does. The 1987 Philippine Constitution details how the state values every human person and guarantees full respect of our human rights, and that we have a right to information and to official records. What do you want to know when you first meet a person? You might ask about her name, where she works, mobile number. Once you get to know her better, more often than not, she'll begin to trust you enough to tell you about her age, her educational background, her philosophy in life, or even her religious or political affiliations. Nevertheless, sensitive personal information is not as easy to gather. It takes time. But some things we simply keep to ourselves, unless expressly needed for transactions with the government, the bank, or to avail of medical services. A special kind of trust is referred to in privileged communication, wherein individuals would choose to share information based on a context of a protected relationship, such as attorney and client, priest and penitent, husband and wife, and doctor and patient. If you are an employee, patient, student, client, subscriber, research participant, consumer, stakeholder, or constituent that has shared personal information, you are a data subject. And in these modern times, disclosure of personal data between two companies has become very common. This is called data sharing. Businesses, schools, telecommunication companies, banks, hospitals, internet service providers, and the government are personal information controllers, or PICs. These are persons or organizations that control the collection, processing, and storage of personal information, including those who instruct other companies to collect, process, store, or transfer personal information on their behalf. There is control if the organization decides on what information is collected or the purpose or extent of its processing. But being a PIC is not without responsibilities. They are legally responsible for the safety of the information under their custody. Even the ones they outsource to personal information processors, PIPs, which process personal information on behalf of PICs, whether domestically or internationally. With so much data getting passed around, our foremost concern is to keep the data subject safe. What are the rights you should know to keep personal information safe? The right to be informed. Right to object. If the data subject expresses objection, the PIC must immediately stop processing data upon request. Right to access. Right to correct or rectify. Right to data portability. Right to erasure or blocking when data is incomplete, outdated, unlawfully obtained, or used without authorization. Right to file a complaint. And the right to damages. If after 15 days and no response from the Personal Information Controller, the data subject may file an official complaint with the National Privacy Commission. But despite our best efforts, accidental or unlawful destruction, loss, alteration, and unauthorized disclosure still happen due to ever-evolving threats and personal data breaches. As they say, it's not a question of if, but when a cyber attack will occur. As new efficiencies are developed, services improve, and the use of information expands to new markets. More trade is created, data increases in monetary value, and so does the number of malicious hands that try to illegally get a hold of it. If data falls on the wrong hands, criminals can apply for a loan, open credit card and utility accounts, get access to medical care, and commit fraud in someone else's name. And with premature profiling by companies, unfair decisions may be made regarding employment applications. Victims can consequently be denied loans, public service, and medical care, harassed by collectors, faced with lawsuits, and just plainly be stressed out and embarrassed. With all these dangers, why are we not just hiding inside our houses and not just share any information at all? The National Privacy Commission is the government body in charge of rule-making, advisory, public education, compliance, monitoring, investigations, and enforcement regarding all things data privacy. It is tasked to protect privacy of communication while still ensuring the free flow of information to promote innovation and growth. We shall look into the general privacy principles of transparency, proportionality, and legitimate purpose governing the law. Transparency is about consent, which must be freely given by the one whose personal information is being processed. Without his consent, personal information cannot be collected, used, shared, or processed in any way, shape, or form. The data subject must be made aware of the nature, purpose, and extent of the processing of his personal data, including the risks and safeguards involved, the identity of the personal information controller, as well as his rights as data subject, and how these can be exercised. Any information and communication relating to the processing of personal data should be easily accessible and understandable in clear and plain language. Next is legitimate purpose. The PIC must only use personal data intended for the specific purpose of the service they expressly provide and nothing else. This purpose should be allowed by law. Otherwise, personal information cannot be processed without the consent of the individual. What about proportionality? Similar to what happens in fair trade, proportionality assures the data subject that the information they are required to provide in exchange for services are really needed, because by no other means could the transaction be fulfilled. This means that no excess information should be asked from them. All data provided will be put to good use. The extraneous collection of data should be avoided. What is consent? Consent means giving data subjects genuine choice and control over the use of their data. It can be identified as our permission or authority from the data subject to process. It must be freely given, specified, and documented. This means that it should be unbundled from other terms and conditions wherever possible. Clear affirmative action means someone must take deliberate action to opt in. In its mission to safeguard our right to privacy, the National Privacy Commission helps promote these principles to ensure that a culture of privacy continues to grow and prosper in modern society. Please bring out your pen and paper and answer the following. You will be given 15 minutes to complete the test. Those who pass the test will be given an awareness training certification of completion. Those who fail will be asked to repeat the training course.